Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So, today, we've got some big news, some pretty big news, actually. A bunch of new products have been shown from Darkness Ablaze. Now, this is kind of unusual, because one of the things we can see here that we haven't actually seen before yet is the logo from Dark Blaze. Yeah, we've not actually had a logo reveal. Usually at some point, somebody goes and actually finds a logo and reveals it, and we can have a good look and all of that good stuff. Well, here, ladies and gentlemen, we've actually got the logo seen for the very first time, and it's on booster packs. Obviously, I've put the Charizard one on the screen. Why would I not, ladies and gentlemen? Why would I not? Now, we've actually got a look at 3 of the booster packs so far. We can see one features Gigantamax Charizard, one features Centiskorch, and one features Grimmsnarl. Now, these are actually extremely important. Now, the one featuring Centiskorch tells us that Centiskorch V Max is going to be in the set, but honestly, that's not particularly newsworthy, if that makes sense. Because you see, this set, Darkness Ablaze, is based around 2 sets. Explosive Walker, which has just come out in Japan, and Infinity Zone, which we are expecting to have a first reveal of at the end of this week. We've not really seen anything from that set yet, but we expect to see it quite soon. Okay. Well, Explosive Walker was a set where the cover Pokemon was Centiskorch, and Centiskorch was kind of the poster child of the set, so obviously we were going to have Centiskorch. That's not very exciting. What is very exciting is that one of these booster packs features Charizard and one of them features Grimmsnarl. And that tells us that the Grimmsnarl VMAX and Charizard VMAX decks are going to be featured in the set. When I talked about this set the other day when we had the reveal from the lovely folks over at Total Cards, I told you that they might be in the set, but they might not. We didn't know. We had no real way of knowing. Sometimes these decks over in Japan make their way into main sets, and other times they don't make their way into main sets. So it wasn't really fair to say one way or the other. Well, now that we got booster pack art featuring Charizard and Grimmsnarl, that tells us with absolute certainty that they will be including the cards from those VMAX decks in Darkness Ablaze. Now, honestly, in terms of those cards, there isn't a huge amount in there. We do have, obviously, Charizard V and Charizard V Max, which means that it's going to be one of those sets where everyone's buying it chasing the Charizard, as you might expect. And it's going to feature Grimmsnarl and Grimmsnarl V Max, which are, shall we say, less sought after, but still kind of exciting. I think people will get a little bit hyped about those. But there's also a couple, not many, but there are a couple of other cards that we now know are coming in. One of them is the Hydreigon. Now, Hydreigon's got that ability we've seen on many Pokemon over the years. It just lets you attach as many energy as you like during your turn. In this case, it is specifically fire energy that you are allowed to attach. So that's quite nice. It just means you can attach as much darkness energy as you like and then really go for it. If that's the kind of thing you're into, ladies and gentlemen, wonderful news. Now, when I talked about this the other day, I told you that there were no trainer cards that were exclusive to the decks that were particularly exciting. It turns out I lied to you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry about that. You see, it does actually feature, the set does, Rotom Phone. And Rotom Phone's a nice little item card that lets you look at the top 5 cards of your deck, put one on top of your deck, and then shuffle all of the other cards back into your deck. Don't worry about drawing it. Remember, we've got the Oranguru from Sword and Shield that lets you swap a card in your hand for the top card of your deck, so drawing that card is not going to be difficult. That's about it. It's really just the V's and VMAX's Hydreigon and Rotom Phone, but still, there are some cards that are going to be in there, and that is now basically confirmed from the booster pack artwork. But it's not just the booster pack artwork we've gotten, it's also the artwork for theme decks. And we see theme decks based around Galarian Darmanitan and Galarian Sirfetch'd. Now, this is very interesting because we haven't seen these cards. Now, both Galarian Darmanitan and Galarian Sirfetch'd have just made their debut in the TCG in Rebel Clash. Galarian Sirfetch'd I really like, free energy 180. It can't use it until it leaves the active spot, but come on, just switch, retreat. There's a million different ways to get it out the active, don't worry about that. And 180 for free energy is pretty gosh darn good, especially in a world where we have Karate Belt and Twin Energy, so if you're behind on prizes, you can literally pay it super easily in one turn. So that's quite cool. Worth pointing out, of course, that Guzma and Hallow will search for both of those cards at the same time, as well as a stadium, so you know, that sounds like fun. As for the Darmanitan, not such a huge fan of that. 4 energy 170 is alright, 80 damage plus 10 to each of your opponent's bench is alright, and you do have Frostmoth to accelerate energy, so it's not terrible. Here's the thing though, it ain't those cards. These are not Rebel Clash theme decks, these are Darkness Ablaze theme decks. Oh, so these are brand new cards. The artwork is different. Now, to be fair, the HP is, I mean, for Sirfetch'd, it's exactly the same, and for Darmanitan, it's exactly the same. All we know about them is typing and HP, and both the typing and HP do track with what we've seen so far. So these have got to be from Infinity Zone, the upcoming Japanese set. I can't tell you anything else about these cards at all, I'm terribly sorry. I wish that I could, but I can tell you that in Infinity Zone in Japan, and therefore Darkness Ablaze over here, we will be getting both a Galarian Sirfetch'd and a Galarian Darmanitan. But at this stage, I need to give a shout out to the lovely Joe from Cerebi.net, because he pointed out something on the artwork here for the Darmanitan theme deck, which had actually passed me by. You see, we've got Zen Mode. Galarian Darmanitan Zen Mode is actually featured on the front of this theme deck. Now, let's be very clear. The Galarian Darmanitan that we can see through the window on the front of the theme deck is a regular Galarian Darmanitan, as is the one we saw in Rebel Clash. But why would they put this on the front of the theme deck if we weren't going to be getting a Zen Mode Galarian Darmanitan in the set? Maybe they would? But I'll be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a little bit, yeah, I'm not quite buying that, to be honest with you. I think that this gives us pretty strong confirmation that we are, in fact, going to be getting a Zen Mode Galarian Darmanitan in the set as well. I have very little to add to that, I'm afraid. There's not much I can tell you about Zen Mode Galarian Darmanitan, except it could be a fire type or a water type. Remember that although Galarian Darmanitan is ice, so water in the TCG, Zen Mode is ice-fire, so it could come into the TCG as either water or fire. Will we get both forms in the same theme deck? It's not the kind of thing we usually get. Multiple prints of the same Pokemon but different cards in the same theme deck. I just really don't see the point in putting Zen Mode Galarian Darmanitan on the front if you're not going to put it in the theme deck. Plus, of course, let's face it, people are going to buy it thinking it's in there. This past week on my Complete History series, check it out on YouTube, I'll pop a link in the description, it's lots of fun, we talked about EX Fire Red and Leaf Green. And one of the things that was weird about those theme decks is that the front of the boxes had Charmeleon and Ivysaur on, and it was basically their way of saying, look, you're going to get a Charmeleon and an Ivysaur, you don't get Charizard and Venusaur, and the Charizard in that set is very sought after, so we're not going to put them on the front of the box. Now, were some people duped? No idea, but I like the fact that they were very clear in that you get Charmeleon in the box, they put Charmeleon on the front. Surely that's going to mean, and I know we're talking years old here, I'm not saying we can correlate from that, I'm just saying that you can't put Zen Mode on the front if you're not going to put it in the box. Now, I'm afraid I don't have the free pack blisters to show you. I'm terribly sorry. If they are revealed before I upload the video, I'll add them in. But we do have the one-pack blisters for now, and they feature a couple of gym promos that were released in Japan a little while ago. We've got Pikachu, and we've got Hatenna. Now, Hatenna here is actually just an alternate art reprint of the one that came around in Rebel Clash. It's fine. I mean, look, The best thing I can tell you about Hatena here is it's literally the only one. So if you want to play Hatterene, you don't really have much of a choice here. You've got to play it. Single energy, search your deck for a Pokemon and put it in your hand. 2 energy, 20 damage. It's a spectacularly underwhelming Pokemon, but in terms of it's literally your only option, get over it, it ain't too bad. One thing that I do find very interesting here is that this was actually going to be a promo that was given out at tournaments in Japan that were cancelled. So as it stands at the moment, we're getting this card and Japan hasn't actually had it yet because it was a tournament promo from tournaments that never happened. They will, one would assume, but it hasn't happened yet. As for the Pikachu's actually quite a bit better. 3 energy, 50 damage I'm not loving, but single energy, flip a coin if heads the defending Pokemon can't attack next turn. That's kind of cool. Now, of course, if your opponent switches our active Pokemon, they will be able to attack, boo, hiss, etc. But for the time being, it's not a terrible attack, ladies and gentlemen. It's not a terrible attack. Shout out to the lovely Joe and Cerebi.net for the translation of that card. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen, that's what we know. We've got a good look at the logo, and we know what the one-pack blisters are and the theme decks, and we've confirmed some cards that are in there that we didn't know were, but we now know are. Awesome. So now it's over to you guys. Tell me what you think about this reveal. Tell me whatever you want, quite frankly. Go nuts in the comment section, but be nice, would ya? And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassyPlays, where you can find out about a whole bunch of games that don't have Pokemon in, but are pretty gosh darned awesome nonetheless. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.